I can't sing that for the rest of the year because I just sang
You
it
sang it like
times.
53 times. So yes. Well, Shabbat Shalom. And still Chag Sameach, because the sun is still up, so still Chag Sameach. It seems that our live stream, just like when we renew this new year, several new years in Judaism, right? There's the new year for the Shofarot, which is clearly Rosh Hashanah. There's also the new year that's Pesach, because this is the first month of the Jewish year. It seems that our live stream, just like this Pesach, needed to be refreshed. Just like us. There were some crumbs in it from last year when it opened its Haggadah.
That explains it.
And some stains on the previous year's tablecloths, and now it seems to be renewed. Maybe. It's lovely to be with you on this fine Shabbat together, and we got this bonus that I think we didn't know when we went to cantorial school and rabbinic school, that we would be decent at technology. Yeah. And I wouldn't say we're great at it. I would say that we're decent. But so, hi, those of you in the live stream. I think it's working. I think you can probably see us. I think you can probably hear us. Sorry for the delay. I think everything is working. And we are thrilled that you are here as well, and that you are joining us via wherever you are in the world. Hope that you also had and are having the last bit of your matzah. Those of you who might be celebrating 8 days still have another whole day. So there are either 7 days for Pesach or 8 days of Pesach. I am clearly a Reform rabbi, but I do the 8 days. So I have another wonderful day of matzah and macaroons, which I am so excited about. Can you tell?
Yeah, take it easy.
All right, good, okay. So if you want to join us on the live stream for our services tonight, we'd be thrilled if you would go to our website, cbiboca.org, and top left corner is menu. Hit menu, and then under menu should be services, and if you scroll down under the services section, it says virtual prayer book or virtual siddur. You can press that and then join us for all of our praying and singing that we'll be doing together on this Erev Shabbat. We're going to light our Shabbat candles, and so it's actually still Chag, so as you can tell, there's already a candle lit, so we're just going to use the fire that's already lit since it's Chag to Chag, and we'll continue on page 2, where I'm just going to light our Shabbat candles tonight.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Now that our Shabbat candles are lit, we can be amidst Shabbat, amidst our rest, and let go of the previous week, whether it was fabulous or wonderful, or maybe a little challenging or difficult, or sad or hard or happy. We still let go of that week and move into a Shabbat of rest. Now that our candles are lit and our time is sanctified, and we further sanctify that time with the sweetness of our Kiddush, of further sanctifying our evening, page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, Zecher litziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu v'charta, Viltanu kidashta, Mikol hamim Shabbat kodshecha, Be'ahava u'v'ratzon, Inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Hi. I know, yes. It's on the way out on the thing. Yeah, there's no. You can have some of this wine if you want. Probably it's. You don't want it. I'm not sure it's kosher for Passover, actually. It's probably in a Shabbat bottle. It's not kosher for Passover, so you don't want it. It's not kosher for Passover. We are going to continue to bring in the presence of our Shabbat bride on this Erev Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, page 20 and 21. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, we'll be standing and facing the door to welcome in the Shabbat bride. So once again, 20 and 21.
Lecha Dodi nikra kahala, b'nei Shabbat nekamela. Lecha Dodi nikra kahala, b'nei Shabbat nekamela. Shamu v'zachor, b'dibor echad hishmiyanu, el hameyuchad Adonai echad, u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet, v'helitzilah. Shabbat ne'kabela, likrat Shabbat, lechu v'necha ki hi mekor, ha'beracha merosh mikedem ne'esucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavat tshila, lecha dodi, likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat ne'kabela, Alayich nigla lecha dodi, likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat ne'kabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat ne'kabela. Boi v'shalom, atzeret balaga. Boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat ne'kabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat ne'kabela. Lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai. La 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 la.
started. We continue now to transition from Kabbalat Shabbat into the evening part of our service into Arvit, and we transition with Chatzi Kaddish. To be able to do that on page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בלמד יברכירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו, Amen. Yehishmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Lol Mehamaya Yitbarach Yitbarach Veishtabach Vitpar Mitroma Mitnase Veitadar Veitale Veitalal Shemei de Kudesha Berichu Le'ela Min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'olma, ve'imeru. Amen.
We continue now with the Baruch Hu, with the idea and the words of am I awake? Am I focused on standing and connecting with God and community? As we continue with our Shabbat service, Baruch Hu, page 28, together we stand.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? And a line, 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 and a line, line, line. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Moed, Le'olam Moed. And a line, 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 and a line, line, line.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhma poteach she'arim ובתבונה משנה עיתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. Blessed are you, Adonai, God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. We continue on page 33. At the bottom, let's alternate paragraphs. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. 34:35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We'll continue with Hafta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
As we spend these last days and hours together during Pesach, we clearly focus on freedom and what freedom feels like, or what we imagine freedom might not feel like, as we watch the news in the Ukraine and all parts of the world where we feel like freedom is not where it should be, and it becomes our jobs to help to pursue that freedom, to help to maintain that freedom, and to help to create that freedom for those who might not have it. And so we appreciate that freedom. We appreciate that moment of our freedom as the Israelites left Egypt in our story of Pesach and finally got to the sea. And when the sea parted and they went through, they danced with delight in this freedom of the words of Micha Mocha on page 40. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגולו מלך חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Israel. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. We continue with the words of Hashkivenu, thanking God for creating shelter for us, for creating the shelter beneath the shadow of God's wings, page 42.
שלום להעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
In a moment, we'll continue with the Amidah. And when we do, please note that since last time we were in the sanctuary together, part of the Amidah has changed because we switched from mentioning the winter section of the Gvurot into the summer section of the Gvurot because the official switchover is Passover, and it's Passover. So we switched over. So just you'll see as you get to page 50. When you get there, you'll see there's a section that says winter and a section that says summer, and we are going to do the summer part. And we're going to do the summer part from now all the way until Simchat Torah. So that means we're counting down to the high holidays.
Already.
That's what that means. That means we're inbound for the high holidays. That's what that means. Which is what clergy love to hear. Yes. So just a note. But we continue with the Amidah on page 46. That's where we begin, and we stand.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vehanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekone Hakol, Vezocher Chaste Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Gevurot, Midom Elach, Melech Memit Umekayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman atale hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We continue silently now, beginning on page 54. Through page 62. When you are finished, please be seated. to continue at the bottom of page 62. So Passover is ending-ish, either tonight for some of us or tomorrow night for some others. And we sat at our Seder tables and hopefully ate a lot and have our 4 cups of wine or juice and told the stories and had our own traditions and felt the freedom, which was essentially what Pesach is all about, is this freedom. And the freedom is really born from that moment that we all know about, that moment when the Israelites leave Egypt. We know the story, right? The "let my people go" story, and then we know that there are the 10 plagues, and then ultimately the 10th plague pushes forth the Pharaoh to let the Israelites go, and they go, right? And they get to the sea, and we know the story in front of the sea, that they're standing there in front of the water, it's not parting. And then they see that the Egyptians changed their mind and are now the chariots, the cloud of the chariots in the sands are coming towards them, and they're very nervous and they're trapped, right? And so we know the story by the way of the sea opening and us traveling through, and it's lovely and it's pretty. There's also this cool story about a guy named Nachshon, if you know a story about a name Nachshon, who there's a midrash about him that he was the one with the courage who jumped in first, and then the sea splits. And so we know these beautiful stories about this freedom moment, because then the sea parts and we walk through and we go on to, we're on the dry land and we get to the other side, and right as the Israelites cross the other side, the water closes in and the chariots are engulfed by the water, and then we're free. And then there's Miriam with the timbrels, and we know the story. Yay, and then we're free, and then we begin the journey in the desert to the promised land, and we get the 10 commandments, and we all the beautiful stuff. There is an interesting midrash, though, that precedes that moment, and that is standing there at the water. And that is, We're standing there. It's this great moment. The sea is right in front of us. The chariots are closing in. The story of Nachshon, let's say, is not in this midrash, and now we're stuck because the Israelites are nervous. And there's a commentary that says that actually 4 opinions get formed in that moment by the Israelites. Why? So why 4? Why is 4 a good number anyway for us on Pesach? 4 questions, 4 cups of wine, 4 children. All right, good. So interesting that there are 4 different stories in this midrash, but there are 4 stories. So in that moment, it's as if the Israelites divide into 4 different opinion camps, according to this midrash. First opinion camp is that we should go into the water and drown ourselves. Rather us do it to ourselves than the Egyptians do it to us. That's one faction. The second faction says that we should go back to Egypt. Just surrender. Look, at least we were alive, and it was terrible, but we were living. So that was option 2. Option 3 is that we should wage war against them, which some of them thought was a good idea, and it was a small faction because they thought, how are we going to do that? This army is coming near us. How is that possible? And the fourth option, we should really just stand here and cry out to God. Those are the 4 options. So option 1 was drown ourselves. Option 2 was to return to Egypt. Option 3 was to war against the Egyptians. And option 4 was to just really stand there in the mud and wait for God. So I ask you this, non-rhetorically, just think about it. Try and put yourself in that spot, in that really horrible, scary position that separates you from slavery and freedom. That's the spot. That spot separates us from slavery. Literally, that spot separates us from being slaves and being free. What would you do if you had to pick one of the 4 options? What's the least of the evils, would you say? Or the best of the options for you? Anyone want to shout one out? What's that? Stand there. Okay, so there's a stand there. There's a stand there option. Try the water. Just that may be the drowning option, may not be the drowning option. Just go in the water and see what happens. Okay, it's a big C, but we're just going to do it. Fine. So I got a C option. I got not a C option like ABC, like an SEA option. I got a just stand there and hope for the miracle option. Any others? What's that? Okay, the surrender option is a good option. I mean, you know what life is like there. It's not anything new, right? You already know that it's terrible, but I'm going to get food. So I'm going to be fed. So any others? Any other thoughts? This is what they teach us in rabbinic school. It's called wait time. Oh, yes, Phil. Excellent. So, very well distinguished thinking, good lawyer thought, to think, look, I just experienced the 10 plagues against the Egyptians. I just watched them, not against me. So probably, why would you leave me here, God, to just die? If you just tried to save us through all these 10 plagues, then maybe I'm just going to hang out. So it sounds like you're maybe in the hangout crew. Well, you've seen the miracles before, so why not a miracle right now? Let's just stand here and wait. Any others? Not everyone has to respond, but any others want to wage an answer here into this? Wade, I used that on purpose. See what I did there? Yes. Okay, interesting. So a combo. So like a combo of the waiting and the hoping, but also just be prepared to fight. And if I have to fight, I have to fight, which is similar to the other ones really, because the ultimate ending is that I might die fighting, but at least I'll be fighting, right? Rather than just waiting, right? So waiting with the T again, not waiting with the D. Okay, good. So this is what the commentary wants us to think about. Put ourselves literally in those sandals, in the sand, in that moment. We're asked to think about what freedom really is. There's that sentence that we're supposed to say in the Haggadah, B'chol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hi yatzah mitzrayim. In every generation, one must literally feel like they were freed from Egypt. That's the job of the Seder. That's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to feel it. So feeling it in that moment, those are difficult odds. So what the commentary says, though, is it says that there's a problem with all of the options, obviously. And none of them mentions anything positive. Nothing says anything about moving forward. Nothing says really collectively as a group, let's do this together, we'll figure this out. Everything is kind of alone and soul in the moment. No one collectively does it. There's no journeying forth. There's no group in the moment. And I think that what the commentary and what Pesach teaches us is that when we're together in these moments, we're much more powerful. We're much stronger. When we're even psychologically stronger in these moments, we have these opportunities to appreciate freedom or moments, or maybe even to assemble that army more strongly, to think maybe we can do it if we can put it together, if we're strong enough in this will of this freedom. Now, what happens? What's the answer, by the way, of the sea splitting? We don't know. The text doesn't really say. It doesn't really say. That's why there's the story of Nachshon, this guy who shows up and says, okay, it's going to be me. I'm going to jump in the water, and I'm going to have enough courage. I'm going to have enough faith in this situation to jump in and then have it open up. But this is a different midrash because the Torah gives us space to figure out what happens in that window. And so what I wish for us on this ending of Pesach into Shabbat is to appreciate the freedom and to appreciate that not often, thank God, do we have to find ourselves in these situations. Thank God. Appreciate that we do have the freedom. Appreciate that we did sit at the Seder table, that we were surrounded by the people that we love, that we did have the opportunity to whine about the matzah, or whine about the food, or whine about the wine, right? Thank God for that moment that we get to do that. And thank God for each other that we get to do that. God clearly plays a role, but it's us that has to be part of it as well, because we're the ones that make the godliness for us to do this together. So thankfully, we don't have to be in this moment. And like I mentioned, and like we always mention each week for the Micha Mocha, when we appreciate this weekly, daily even, if we did this every day, Micha Mocha, we say every single day, but at least together on Friday nights, appreciate this idea of this miracle that we can celebrate together, that we have to be part of, though. I don't think miracles just happen when we just wait for them. I think miracles happen when we notice them and when we're part of them. So on this Shabbat, as we clean away the crumbs and begin to put away all of the special Passover stuff and move into our regularness and forget about this so quickly, because Sunday we'll probably forget about it because you'll already have or Saturday night you'll have your pizza, or either tonight you'll have your pizza, or tomorrow you'll have your pizza, or your pasta, or your sushi, or whatever it is that you're going to have, right? Because we're all going to have those same things that you're dreaming about, even though we've been having carbohydrates the whole time. But now we're going to have the proper carbohydrates, so that on Saturday night or on Sunday, I hope we don't forget this, that we have to appreciate this freedom. And that is what the Shabbat is all about. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to think of those in our community who are in need of healing, a physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. We think of Chava Leah Bat Esther, Gary Bandel, Daniel Bernstein, Gloria Bernstein, Lillian Bichelle, Sloan Caston, Brian Church, Karen Coles, Chuck Curry, Cheryl Cutler, Casey Daskell, Mark Davis, John Day, Jaden Deal, Judith Dratler, Martin Edelman, Margot Engel, Bobby Fitchman, Herbert Fitchman, Jean Frankel, Rhoda Friedman, Stuart Fruman, Susie Glatt, Jill Gottlieb, Martin Edelman, Ellen Hedrick, Larry Horn, Irv Hurwitz, Stan Jacobson, Ira Kafka, Shirley Kafka, Gary Kane, Bonnie Kleinman, Michelle Kingen, Esther Rhoda Kaufman, Stuart Kruger, Gloria Land, Rochelle Liebman, Michael Stephen Linder, Michael Medoff, Yankel Yitzchak Ben Moshe, Barbara Newmark, Linda Greenblatt Neuwirth, Arnold Plotsky, Gloria Plotsky, Elliot Porwich, Mark Rosenberg, Howard Rosenbluth, Richard Rosenbluth, Huna Ben Ruth, Moshe Ben Sarah, Lexi Schlessenberg, Jason Seidman, David Schwartz, Ezra Shashua, Matthew Smith, Diane Spiro, Gloria Spiro, Tzvia Batz, Liba Tamara, Barbara Weiss, Ashley Weiss. To those names, we had any name that you would like to add at this time. Mishbeach can be found on page 253. Some announcements for us on this Erev Shabbat. I believe there is a micro oneg right outside the doors here. I believe in the rotunda, in the Rosenthal rotunda. A micro. I believe there's also. I believe if you're keeping Pesach, I believe there's some Pesach oneg. If you're not keeping Pesach, I believe there is some non-Pesach little oneg out there. I believe. If there is, I was right. If there isn't, he was wrong. So
nobody saw that coming.
But it was a good one, though.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great, yeah.
It's a knee slapper.
Tomorrow morning, 8:30 is our service and Torah study on Zoom. We are going to remain on Zoom until June 10th. So we're going to be on Zoom till June 10th for our 8:30 service. That 8:30 service, by the way, starting on June 10th, will switch to 9 rather. So the 8:30 will switch to 9, and it's going to be in person in the chapel. So that's the plan so far. Just so we know, we might have a piece of equipment that we might be able to do both live stream and Zoom in the chapel. So that's why we're waiting on all this time to make sure that it's all set up. So just to let you know. And that's, Sunday. This Sunday, 9 a.m., we are having something called Coffee and Conversation. That's with the clergy to discuss. It's more of like a cool, fun angle of the Torah portion. If you want to join us this Sunday, we'd love to have you. It's at 9 o'clock. It's under the tent. It's sponsored by the Brotherhood. Thank you, Brotherhood, for sponsoring that. We appreciate the Brotherhood for that. It is under the tent. We'll be discussing the Torah portion. It's going to be light and fun outside. And we want to beat last time's number of 50 people joined us last time for the conversation. So come. There's going to be bagels. So Pesach will be way over. There'll be bagels. I'm told there will be bagels. I'm told there will be egg salad. I'm told there will be tuna salad. I'm told there will be fruit. And I'm told there'll be a cookie. So, so please join us for all of that at 9 o'clock for just a little light study, about an hour, schmooze with some congregants, sit outside, have a little nosh, study with us. We'd love to have you. That's at 9 o'clock. What else?
Yom HaShoah?
Right. This coming week, Wednesday evening, we're pretty sure it's Wednesday, the 28th. Is Erev Yom HaShoah, the eve of Holocaust Remembrance Day. We will be doing a Zoom service, 7 p.m., where we'll be doing a special service and also have a special speaker that evening on Zoom, Lonnie Wilk, who is the interim director of the ADL of the region for Florida, and I think he'll be talking not only about connections to the Holocaust, but also to the unfortunate uptick of anti-Semitism just in the world and also, very unfortunately, in our local community. So he'll be speaking about that. So please join us. He's a very dynamic, excellent speaker. I've actually known him since kindergarten. So I have known him for a long time. He is an incredibly fabulous person who's very knowledgeable, who has a master's degree from Hebrew University in Jerusalem, and is very, very well equipped to share meaningful study and conversation with us on Erev Yom HaShoah. So please join us for that. And then we have a bunch of other things coming up. We have graduation for our high school students coming up. That'll also be matched with our last Chardonnay Shabbat of the year, so that's coming up in May. So that's coming. Our confirmation service is coming up on Shavuot, so that's also coming up. And there's a congregational Israel trip, a year from June. So June 11th of 23. Get the word out there if you want to join us to go to Israel. June 11th, 2023, if you want to be in Israel with us. And we had our first conversation, by the way, yesterday with our tour operator about having our youth trip back. So our eighth and maybe eighth and up, or even our high school kids. No, sorry, not our eighth. Our 10th and up kids might be able to go to Israel. Also, around that same time that we're there, we might do a little overlap while we're together. Congregational trip, kids trip. To join us. Pick either one. Kid trip if you want to, or the congregational trip. I think that's a lot of announcements.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We could skip them next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the last thing I want to say is join us next week, please. Please definitely come back next week. We are be honoring our religious school director, Rachel Sherman, because her and her fiance, Jared Wolf, are getting married the following week, and we're doing the Ufruf next week, Friday night, here at the congregation. So come and celebrate our religious school director and her fiance and the family who'll be coming into town for us to be dancing with her and celebrating her upcoming Ufruf. that was really it. We can begin to conclude our service. Aleinu and Kaddish, Aleinu 282, 282. Together we stand.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Ushemo Echad.
As we transition our thoughts now in a moment to Kaddish Yatom, we mourn the passing of Susan Silver, mother of our member Michael Silver, grandmother of Savannah and Madison Silver. A funeral will take place beginning of next week, and we also mourn the passing of Cindy Walkoff, mother of our member Erica Whitehorn, grandmother of Holden Whitehorn. Also, funeral will take place beginning of next week. We think of those in the period of Shiva. We think about Stephanie Meiselman and Paulette Howard. And for our yahrzeits that occur for us this week, Stanley Butwin, Arthur Cohen, June Einseidler, Faye Geronimus, Harold Colunza, Marshall Kaplan, May Kogan, Esther Leventhal, David Mallow, Albert Marin, Helen Merweitzer, Joan Nissen, Miriam Rubin, Sylvia Ruth, Jonathan Schwaber, Lonnie Smith, Florence Spinrad, Jeffrey Statler, Harry Wilkes. To those names, we add any name that you would like to add at this time. Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish 294. יתגדל ויקדש מרבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי והמליך מלכותי, בחיי חון וביומי חון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה וזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי ומיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, נעלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, חיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, as together we say amen. Please be seated. We conclude our service on this Erev Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem on page 24.
Shalom.
amo v'shalom. May God give strength unto our people. Continue to bless us with hope and strength and love and peace. Shabbat shalom, everybody.